Okay, so as what you have to do in this lab 2, once you'll open this the windows, so you have to click on this tab start lab. Okay, as we are in the module 5 of AWS Cloud Foundation course. Okay, and how you'll reach to this model? So first of all, you have to log into that. As you know that, like, you have to go to the courses. Like, I have multiple courses, but you once will log in to the management console, you need to go to the module here, simple, and then you need to reach to the module 5, as we have completed in the previous class, module 1. Sorry, I mean lab 1, which was from module 4, which was based on the introduction to AWS IAM. So now the next is module 5, and which will be on networking and content delivery. Okay, that's this topic, and you need to go to the lab 2. This lab 2 is basically building your VPC, and will launch a web server. So once you'll click on the lab 2, you need to go to in your side, I mean, it will directly come to start the lab. Okay, so as I have published that, so simply I need to go to the configure workspace. Might be it will not show in your side because as I have logged in with the educator credential, but in your side what you'll find, let me show you as a student view. So just look at here. Yeah, so this is your lab to build your VPC and launch a web server. Here you need to click on the start lab. Okay, so it takes some time to get started. So as a few minutes back I had started the lab, so that's why it's not taken much more time. So here just you need to close this window and click on the AWS tab, that is your management console tab. So here it's asking you must first log out of before logging into the different AWS account. So just click over here. If you are facing this kind of challenges, so you need to just do the things like give your credential and all this thing, you will get to access this windows. Okay, let me try once again. And I have logged out. I think it will take now. Yeah, that's great. So it is showing on my windows, as you can see here. So whenever if you will be facing this kind of issue, just sign out from the previous login, and again you have to click on the AWS tab, which will fetch you to the new windows, that is your management console. Okay, after this you have to go to the just a minute guys. Okay, so just see here. Next is the thing is in this lab is basically we have to complete this lab in 30 minutes, and what are the things we have to complete in this lab? You should be able to configure following things, like we'll create a VPC, then we'll create a subnets, then we'll configure security groups, and then we'll launch a EC2 instance into a particular VPC. I mean, in this lab, basically what you will be doing, you have one of the virtual private cloud, and under this you will be launching an instance, And once your instance will be launched, you have to create also a security group. So like once you'll create VPC, I mean that is a private cloud. So under it, you'll be creating a subnet under the private cloud. Okay. And in the subnet, you'll be creating a multiple security groups, and then we'll launch an EC2 instance into a particular virtual private cloud, right? So this is our basic scenario. Like as you can see here in this lab, you will be having this kind of infrastructure. Like we have the AWS cloud, under it we have the region, under the region we have the different zone, as you can see. Like we have ability zone A, ability zone B, and under it we have the two subnet, like public and private subnet. And here also like under this this lab subnet public, that is your public subnet, and another is your private subnet. And under the public subnet, we will be we will be adding the security group, as you can see here, which belongs to availability zone B. And in case of like a private and public subnet, in the another region, in the another availability zone, you'll be finding here the two subnet, and both the subnet having NAT, both the subnet is coming under the particular lab VPC, like their IP has been assigned and their availability zone also be defined on this particular subnet. Okay. And in another subnet, as you can see here, like we have this like availability zone B, then we have lab subnet public, and then we have lab subnet private. Okay. And in the public subnet, we will be creating another one security group, which will be for the web server. Okay. So what are the IP that we are going to use here? There is a public route table. A routing table is what basically is a collection of source and destination IP. Okay. So in this case, in the public route table, you will be having destination and target. So destination IP is given 10.0.0.0/16, and this is target is a local. Then in the destination under IP, that is for the internet gateways IP, that is 0.0.0/0. And in the private route table, as you can see here, there is a destination IP of 10.0.0.0/16. And in the target that you can see, that is a local and the net gateway. So two things you are finding here: internet gateway and the net gateways. So as you can see in the availability zone A, we have that one of the NAT gateways, right? And both the zone that will be connected through the internet gateways, right? So NAT is what basically is a mapping of private to public IP. For that purpose, we use that NAT, network address translation. Okay. So here, if you'll go to the accessing the AWS Management Console, you have to follow this step, which I have already been started. Like I had click on Start Lab, then I wait for the lab status ready, which I have already been shown you. All right. The next I went to at the top of this instruction, we choose that like here AWS tab, right? And then it went to the new that AWS Management Console, which had been open in the new browser tab. Okay. So these are the tasks that I mean initial things that you have to do for this lab. Then our next aim is that what we have to do, we have to create one PPC. As you can see this, the table over here. I mean, from this diagram, you can understand there is a one AWS cloud. Like when once you have opened AWS Management Console, as you can see here, this is our AWS cloud infrastructure. So under this, we are going to create virtual private cloud, right? That is your VPC. How will start the lab as you have seen it, and then while creating the VPC, you have to go to the services, and you also just check with that at the top right corner, check with that whether you have opened with this region or not. I mean North Virginia, US East 1, you have opened with or not. Just let me show you how I'll check it. This one, this region, as you can see here, if you click over here, like North Virginia, US East 1. So this is one of the region under the AWS, okay? And in this region, we are going to create one VPC. So for creating the VPC, what we have to do, you have to go to the services and just search the VPC. VPC is what is a virtual private cloud. Just click over here. Okay, so as I have gone with the VPC, so now you have to choose the VPC dashboard and then choose that create VPC. As you can see here, we are on the VPC dashboard. This is all about the VPC dashboard. Next, you need to click on the create VPC. Okay, so there is some conditions settings for creating the VPC, right? So what are the things you have to use under the VPC? Just look at here. So configure VPC details, the VPC setting panel on the left, and choose VPC and more. Under the name tag, auto generation, keep auto generated selected. So in the project, you have to give the lab, right? Project name, I mean. So here is like as you can see here, VPC and more by default, it has already been taken, right? Auto generate, this is the project. So let me show you under the name tab generation, the keep auto generate selected. However, change the values from project to lab. So initially it is given the project, just you have to put it lab. Okay, now we have IPv4 CIDR values. So IPv4 address you have to give. So you need to keep the CIDR values block set is what 10.0.0.0/16. So which class IP is this, guys? Can anyone tell me? So do you have the basic knowledge of
C class.
networking? So /16, if /16 is mentioned is what? You have to check with that what that how many network bit and how many host bits. So
A
as you
class, A
can
class.
see, so for class B, there is a 16 bits for host and 16 bit for network. And if we'll talk about the class A, so it is 8 bit for the whole, 8 bit for the network, and remaining 24 bits will be for the host. And for class C, 24 bits will be for your networks, and remaining 8 bits will be for your host. So on that basis, you can recognize which class IP it is. And there is also the initial, the first octet values where you can identify but as you can see here, like the the first octet values range, if you'll see like from 0 to 127. So out of that range that belongs to class A, and but the class A that the subnet mask is what basically the /8 should be. I mean 255.0.0.0, but here it is /16. So it indicate that it's a subnetted network they have used over here. Okay, so we cannot directly say that which class it belongs. I mean, whether class A, class B, or class C. They have used classless inter-domain routing concept. That's why they have used also CIDR block values, and where they have used /16. If they had used the range from 127 to there is some specific values for the class B and class C range. So out of that range, if they are using, I mean, out of 127, right? So that belongs to class B, and if it goes like 172 to 253, I mean, there is some range of values. I will show you like how we'll identify the which class of IP is that. Like the values, you can also write it down. I mean, if the values this belongs to 0 to 127, then its next values start from 128 to generally 127 used for the network checking. I mean, generally for the look back address, they used to do check, and that the last IP they uh, assign for the particular NIC checking, network interface card checking, or troubleshooting purpose. Then the next values start like from 128 to one just add the values like 128 to it will goes like 172, then again it start from 173 to 223, then again it will goes from 224 to 248, like this way. I mean there is a
Hello.
different classes having and their ranges are defined for that every class. Okay, so if you'll see in this case, like the first octet belongs to the class A, but in the values under the CIDR, it should be /8, right? Because their subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. But here the subnet mask they have used what? 255.255.0.0. It means that this the subnet mask is for class B then. So we cannot say directly whether it's a class A, class B, or class C. Okay, so because they have used this IP as a classless IP. Without class IP, they have assigned for this. Okay. So, like this way, I mean, you should have some basic knowledge of networking also that is required in this cloud, the course. Okay, going to the next, if you see the number of availability zone, anyone was asking anything, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I was asking whether, sir, I have applied for PAN. I am applying for PAN card, sir, but it will take time. So, if
See, that
then
is not required. Actually, if we have the time when we have given the course access, at that time, we have, as I have told you, like you don't have to go to the free tier account. Okay, if you're creating the free tier account, so for that they have lots of verification and lots of credential, lots of I mean the things that is required, PAN card, Aadhaar card, or card detail, everything they require. But here, as you know, that is a predefined lab, and just log in with the Kit ID. Make sure that your account is, access, you have access with this Kit credential. Okay, because all the students, those who are having the roll number with the Kit ID, I mean. So for those students, we have already given the course access, and they don't need actually to create another account. As I have checked with some other student also, like they were not using any kind of card detail or anything. They are directly accessing the course. I think there is some mistake from your side. So what you can do for this case, if you are staying in hostel, come down to the TNP. I will resolve this issue. Okay, I
sir,
used to
but
sit in.
sir, I
Yeah.
am online, sir.
Okay. So for that case, okay, tomorrow just let me know after 11:30. Just call me. I will try to resolve your issue. But whenever you are doing, the lab, just try to log in with your Kit ID. Just check with that.
Okay, sir.
Kit
Sure.
ID, because we have given access. I don't think the people, those who are doing the lab, they are opening the account on Amazon services. They are using the Kit ID, and that ID is sufficient to do the lab. So
Okay,
don't,
sir.
I mean, get involved with the lots of verification card, PAN card, Aadhaar card. That's not unnecessary things. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
going to the next, we have gone to this state like name tab auto generation. So under this, as I have changed the name project to the lab. And now the next thing is that we have to keep this IPv4 CIDR block set to this IP 10.0.0.0/16. So just look at here. Already is been assigned under IPv4. Next, like you have to go to number of ability zone, choose one. So here the number of zones, you have to select one. As you can see here, I'll select one. Just look at there. Number of ability zone, just click over here. It will be selected. After the number of public subnet, keep the setting one. Public subnet. This is for ability zone. Then you have the public subnet. This one is one already been selected. Next, number of private subnet. That is also one. Public subnet, private subnet done. After this, just spawn the customized subnet CIDR block section and change the public subnet CIDR block newest 1A to 10.0.0/24. So you need to change the public subnet CIDR block in US East Money. This values under this you have to go to the public subnet that we have changed, customize subnet block. Here you need to click public subnet CIDR values. This values you required /24.1. So all our class list IP they are using it. It does not belongs to any particular classes. Next is your private subnet you require. Right? Just skip this values. Next IP. All right. Now the set NAT gateways to one to in one. Is it NAT gateway you need to check? So this one, like you have to check network address translation gateways that you have to make it in one. Is it? Is it is what basically is availability zone, and we are in the first zone. I mean US is one, so we have to keep it one. Is it? Next is you have to set VPC endpoint to none. This one just keep it none. And then keep both DNS hostname and DNS registration enabled. Okay. So both are enabled. DNS option, enable DNS host names and enable DNS resolution, right? After this, you have to click on create lab. Okay, under this, like a few more things you need to do in under the settings. You have to configure VPC, lab VPC, subnet US respondent. These are the under the setting you have to go. Okay. Okay, that is not required. So we have to do it all this one. Like you can see here lab VPC, lab subnet public one US is 1A. Under the subnet, you can see here like we have the lab subnet private one US is to 1A. And under the route table, you can see lab RTP public. And this one is for lab RTP private. Okay. And the network connection also. You can check that all the lab internet gateways and that is for the NAT for the public USist 1A. So this is all about the VPC that preview. As you can see all the things whatever you have created as for now. So in the preview panel on the right confirm the setting you have configured. These are the things as you can see I have checked also. Now if you have verified then you have to at the bottom of the screen you have to choose the create VPC. Like at the bottom you will find here and there you have to click on the create VPC. So it is verifying one by one all the things whatever you have configured yet under the VPC.
Lab is starting, sir.
Yeah, what happened?
Sir, nothing. I'm checking my lab is starting.
Okay. So for creating a VPC, generally it takes some time because of NAT gateways and some like internet gateways configurations. And you can see it's created. So just view VPC. So we have created the VPC. That is the name is lab VPC. After this, you have to go to here. Just as you can see, the last step for the VPC was a create VPC, and then we have seen that once it has been completed, that we have seen the view VPC. Okay, so under this in the VPC, we can see here like availability zone 1A, and then we have created lab VPC as you can see 10.0.0/16, and the lab subnet public one, then it was a lab subnet private one. And then we have seen like under the ability zone B, the like that part is left that will do now. This configuration has been done through the internet gateways and the VPC, which was connecting both the zone like ability zone 1A and zone 1B under the same region. Okay, so what you will be doing next, you need to just go to the left navigation pane, choose the subnet, because we need to add the subnet here, like as you can see in this picture, like in the zone A that we have created lab subnet public and the private one. In the zone B, that part is also missing, which we have to do it in this VPC basically. So we have to add and we have to create the additional subnet on the VPC. So for this, how will do that? Like you have to go to the left side of navigation pane, and you need to choose that subnet. So here you can see there is a subnet. Okay, so like we have the subnet. Some subnet is assigned already been created. But first you need to create a second public subnet that you have to create, choose the create subnet and then configure. These are the things you have to configure: VPC ID, lab VPC, select from this menu, select the name. So just click over here, create subnet, and VPC ID you can give. ID is lab VPC. This
I
is
need
your
to create
ID.
the list of time.
Yeah, once you came on this, let me again explain it. Like once you have viewed that VPC, after that you have to go to the left side here in the services side. You will find this subnet like this way. Let me show you. Here you have to click on the subnets. So after clicking on subnet, you will find that some subnet has been already been created for your VPC, and you need to create that. Like this subnet, as I have shown you in the manual here, these are the subnet which was created already, like this one, lab subnet public one, lab subnet private one. These are the things that has been already been created. Now we have to create for the zone B, ability zone B, through the internet gateways that both the zone will be and what configure through the internet gateway, and both the zone will be communicating through the internet gateways. So in this case, like in this region particular, we have to go to the ability zone B, and under it you have to create additional subnet. Okay, so how will do that? For this, you have to first click on this subnet, and then you need to click on create subnet, and here you have to choose that which subnet you want to create. Like I need to suppose the lab VPC, that name already been defined for your lab. So I'll be just choosing that lab VPC as it was also been instructed over here, lab VPC. select from menu, and then you have to give the name. Subnet name is lab subnet public 2. So that,
Excuse me, sir.
that yeah, tell me.
Sir, in my VPC ID, sir, it's not showing any lab VPC, it's showing project VPC. Is it correct?
No, project from the project you have to change to lab VPC. From the initially when you are creating the VPC, at that time there was a one step where it was telling that you have to change from the name project to lab. So I think on there, if you have not changed, then it would be showing the project only.
So,
So you're supposed to change.
sir, shall I click on the project one right now? Or I have to create
Now
a
you
new
can
VPC?
proceed with the project. If you have not changed, then it will be showing not lab VPC, it will showing project VPC. Okay. So you can go ahead with the project.
Okay, sir.
So
Please
just
share
look
the lab
here.
recordings today.
So after this, basically what you will be doing, like lab, labs subnet public 2, you have done that. Just a minute, okay. Okay, so after this, just see here, like lab subnet public 2, you have to give the under the name. Subnet name is lab subnet public 2. So just fill it over here. Then in the zone, select the second LT zone for this. For example, as you can see, US is to 1B. Just with the zone US is 1B here or not. Under the North Virginia, US is 1B. So here, this one you can choose. After this, there is a IPv4 CIDR block. The ID is 10.0.2, 2.0/24. This you have to choose. And then the subnet will have all IP address starting from this, like given one example for this. So the next is like you have to choose create subnet. So here, just look at that. Choose create subnet. You need to click. Key and all is not required, so it is optional here. So you have successfully created one subnet that the ID is given over here. The subnet name is lab subnet public 2. Now the next is once you have created, after this you have to go to the left navigation pane and then you need to choose the route table. Okay, so here under the route tables, just click over there first, and then you have to select that lab RTB private one, OS system one under the route table. This one is required. Just select it here. After this, you have to go to in the lower pane, choose the route table, and then you have to check with that. Let me show you destination and set target net. That part you have to check. So in the lower pane, you have to choose the route tab. This one just you have to click route tab, as you can see here. Now you can see here destination and the target is given, as you can see for this IP 0.0.0/0, and the target is NAT. Its ID is given for this. Another is for the local. I have just verified this. Next, you have to choose this subnet association tab and just verify it whether that is given under the subnet association. So you have to check with this like here under the RTV routing table, you have to click on the subnet association. This one, we have created the subnet lab subnet private one versus 1A, and their ID has been created, the IP which we have given, all the details is shown here under the explicit subnet association. Like in the explicit subnet association panel that you have to choose the edit subnet association. So after this, you have to click on edit subnet association. So under this section, you need to check with that, leave that lab subnet private one US East one is selected, but also select that lab subnet private two. So I mean both you have to select. One is already been selected. Lab subnet public one US East one A and the public two. Which one you have to select? Let me check. Here leave lab subnet private one US East one A, that is already been selected, but also select the lab subnet private two. Lab subnet private two. It's not showing over here. Just a minute. Just look at there. Public subnet is there. Private is selected. So here it is asking under this subnet association tab, create a route table task one. You have choose that this one part we have done. Then action also create a lab subnet private one. Okay. So here, now you have to create another private subnet, lab subnet private two. You will associate this route table with the subnet as well. Under the edit subnet, you have to leave and then also select lab subnet private and then save association. So under the step number 19, you have to choose subnet association. Let me go back to here. Subnet association. Okay. So let me check with the what is asking. Subnet association. You create a route table in task one. When you choose to create a VPC and multiple resources in VPC, the action also will create a lab subnet private one and associated with the subnet with this route table. Now that you have created another private subnet, lab subnet private 2, you will associate this route table with the subnet as well. So in the explicit subnet association plan, choose edit subnet association. So first of all, just go to explicit subnet association tab and then click it on your edit subnet association. Here only okay, private game, that's fine, but another we need. Leave a subnet private, select, but also select the lab subnet private too. That part is not coming. Just check with your system, it is coming in. Private one,
Same,
is it
sir.
coming?
Same, sir. It is showing subnet public too.
No, sir, it's not coming, sir.
Showing the public.
Hello, sir. Sir,
Yeah, tell me. Yes, tell me.
step 14 and 15 we have not completed.
That's why I think then.
Yes, sir.
Let me check. Create subnet lab is private. Okay, that's why it's not showing here because private we have not created. That's why it's not showing. Okay, let me go back and create the subnet. Okay, for the private one. So what I'll do, just go to the VPC first and the private under the subnet. Then I have to create the subnet. Which subnet I have to create? So just see here, lab VPC. Choose this ID. And then this the lab subnet private 2. This one you have to give name. And then in the zone USist 1B, just you have to keep selected 1B. This values, select that zone and that 10.0.0 3.0/24. Just keep these values as the IPv4 CRTR block. And then click on create subnet. Okay, so private subnet also been created. Let me check with that under the route table. Route table. Here we have private USist 1A, 1A and RTB public. Okay, that is fine. This one is there. So in the lower
Hello,
pan,
sir.
choose the route table. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, I created public and private both the subnet, and I already completed the lab. But in the end, when the final it says to open a tab, in the
Mhm.
in the end, the tab
Mhm.
doesn't open.
Okay. Yeah. What
I
tab
fully
doesn't open?
completed the lab, and the
Okay, so just see here. You have to check for the route table, all this detail, destination and the target net. So just go to the route table. So in the left side, you'll find, let me show you. So here in the left lower pan that choose the route tab, routes tab only you have to choose.
So you haven't selected that lab RTB private.
Okay, you have to select the lab RTP private. Yeah, this one. Now just check with that route table. So just see under the route section, like the source and destination. Destination is our 0.0.0/0. The target is NAT, and then the destination is 10.0.0/16. Then it is a local. After this, you have to do one thing. Once you have selected this both the values, I mean you have seen all the destination and the target net, then you need to choose the subnet association tab, and then you have to edit the association. So here is we have subnet association, and then edit this subnet association. So under this explicit subnet association, remember this one is the subnet without explicit association. This is for your what explicit, I mean without explicit case. This is for the with explicit subnet association. So here you need to click edit subnet association. Under this, you have to go to the leave lab subnet private USS 1A and the selected lab subnet private 2. Okay. Here lab subnet private 1 and the private 2 also you have to select. Now you can see here earlier it was not showing because we have not created, that's why. So after this you need to choose the save associations, just save it. Okay, and then you have to select that lab RTP public route table and deselect any other subnet. So just go to that under the route table. This one you have to RTP public, you have to select, and you can see here like under the route table. That's why we have been saved already. So this one, I mean, you have to select the lab RTP public route table, and in the lower section you have to check with this route tab public. Yeah. So just click over here, you'll get it, a route tab. This one is your route tab. So we have under the destination and the target internet gateways, and in destination as you can see 0/0/0/0. Okay, and status is already been active. You need to check with the subnet associations tab, and again you have to edit the subnet association. Here you have to go explicit subnet association, edit it. Which part you have to edit? You need to leave that lab subnet public 1 US is not selected, but you have to select the lab subnet public 2. That one you have to save. The public one, private one we did it last time. Now the public one we have to set and just save the association. Why we are doing like this? Let me check with that. Just see a 28 viewer on that. Let me show you what we did it till now. Here, yeah, just see here this part. So basically, in the zone A, we had already lab subnet public 1 and lab subnet private 1, but in the zone B, we required like lab subnet public 2 and lab subnet private 2. Okay, both the subnet public and private subnet that we have been created in the zone B. Till now we have done this part. Okay, so that's why it is showing all this thing, subnet 1 and subnet 2 in the VPC of zone B. So we have done till this part as I have saved also. Okay, after this just let me show you. This is all about the task. 2 we have completed. We have configure ability zone 1A part and zone B part under the North Virginia region. Okay. After this, you have to create a VPC security group. That was your third task in this lab. So for this, you have to go to the security group. So you will find under the security section. Yeah, okay, so here you have to click on this create security group, and the name is web security group here. Description, you can enable HTTP access. Then in the VPC, just give the name lab VPC. It's already been there, lab VPC. In the inbound rule, just choose the add rule. Here, just add the rule. And the type, just give HTTP. See the type, this is the type. Here you have to use HTTP. And then with the source, just give anywhere. I mean, it will allow you to get access anywhere IPv4 address.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, in VPC, what we have to do?
Lab VPC. And in description, just give permit web request. Okay. After this, just click on the create security group. Only you have to add in the inbound rule. Outbound rule not as per now, not required. So security group already been created successfully. Now the next is we need to go to the launch a web server instance. So for this case, you have to go to the services and you need to choose the EC2 service. Just go here, click on EC2. Yeah, you can click directly. Click on launch instance. So just give the name of this instance, web server 1. Then okay, so when you name your instance, AWS create a tag and associate with this instance. Tag is a key, a values pair. The key for this pair is name, and the values is the name you enter to your EC2 instance. Okay, the name we have given, additional tag. That is not required. Just leave that. Now go to this part only you need to do. Now next is name is fine. It's already been there. So now we need to upload that ISO. I mean, which kind of operating system you are going to use in this EC2 instance. That you have to select. That is called the AMI, Amazon Machine Image. So for this case, like we are going to select Linux operating system, AWS Linux. I mean Amazon Linux.
Sir, after
This one.
selecting the name, we have to just launch the instance.
Just wait. I'm showing the steps. I have not reached till that. Just first you have to select that AMI, Amazon Linux. Then keep the default Linux 2023 AMI selected. So this is the new one in 2023 they have created. This is the new AMI for Linux operating system. This one Amazon Linux 2023 EMI. I am just keeping it. as it is. Under the section of instance type, just instance type just uses T2 micro. There are different types of instances. So every instance type having different features, different purpose. So I'm going to use here T2 micro. So what are these feature for this T2 micro is it will provide you one virtual CPU, 1 GB memory. The storage will be that has been specified here. On demand Windows space pricing is given 0.0162 USD per hour basis they will be charging. So if you need this kind of a specified the instance, so for this case you can choose that instance type T2 micro. If you need more space, if you require more storage and large memory and like CPU, so for this case you have to choose some other instance type, but this one is a free tier eligible. This for this T2 micro you don't have to pay, so I'll be going with this T2 micro. Now in this, select the key pair to associate with this instance. Next is a key pair name menu. Select work key here. After this, you have to go to the network setting, edit it, and then network name is lab VPC. You have to give. There is an edit lab VPC. Just use that. Then the subnet is lab subnet public to lab subnet public to. Just keep this. Auto assign public IP, just enable it. Here you can enable. Next you have to go to under the firewall, just choose selecting existing security group. This one you have to change it. Firewall security group, just select the existing security group. Then in common security group, just select this wave security group. Okay, after this wave security, this security will permit HTTP access to the instance. So in the in the configure storage section, you will keep the default setting like as you have used the different security group, and we will be keeping default setting specific for this root volume of that particular instances, and which will host the Amazon Linux guest operating system that you will specify earlier. I mean, you will run a general purpose SSD under the Linux operating system, hard disk that having capacity of 8 GB in size. Okay. The next thing is like under the advanced detail panel, you have to use some user data. For this case, like configure a script to run an instance when it is launched. So you have to expand advanced details panel just go down. And just you have to scroll to the bottom of the page and then copy the rest of this code shown below here. So that code will be required, like this Apache web server launching code. That one you can use it over here. Copy that and just go down under the user data section here. You can just paste the code. After this, just see here, this script will run with the root user permission on the guest OS of the instance. It will run automatically and the instance launch for the first time. And the script install a web server, a database, and PHP libraries when it will be downloaded, and install a PHP web application on this what the web server. So this basically the code will be automatically once your instance will launch. So your Linux OS will start operating on that your particular instances, and this is basically this code will run with the root user permission on the guest operating system, okay, of that particular instances. And whenever if you'll be using this code, so it will automatically when the instance will be launched for the first time, it will be start running, all the services of that instance which have been configured through the VPC to that instances. Okay, so these are the features that will be used in this code for launching an instance. Okay, now look at here. The next case is that the next at the bottom you can do one thing, click on the launch instance. So here we have, just click on their launch instance. All the things we have done already. Okay, successfully initiated launch of instance. As you can see here, there is an ID has been created for your particular instance. Now what you'll do, you have to wait until web server 1 so as to check passed in the status check button, and then you have to select this web server 1. Just look at here. Let me show you. So just click on the instances. Web server 1, that instance we have launched. So you have to wait till the status check is showing over here. 2x2 check passed. It is initializing over here, like status check is not yet 2x2 check pass. I mean 2x2 check pass means what? Basically it will be your instance will be in the situation where you can do any kind of stuff on the instance. I mean your instance is totally fully ready. Okay, state. So for this it is shows over here like 2x2 check pass, but currently it is initializing, so it takes some time. You can refresh it also. Just select this instance and just keep refreshing. Just it takes generally 1 to 2 minutes to source 2x2 check pass. So you have to check this after launching it. vwall instance here. Let me show you what are the things you will be checking after this. Once 2x2 check will pass, you have to copy the public IPv4 DNS values that will be showing the detail tab of this bottom of this page. Okay, under the instances web server 1. So if I select it, let me show you here. Let's see. web server 1 still is initializing. Okay, so how will check that in the detail that your IP P4 address like this one, this is a private one, this is the public DNS address. Okay, public IP P4 DNS. So just see here, like in the public DNS values, and press and open a new web browser tab, paste this public DNS values and press enter. And then you will see a web page displaying the various logo and instance metadata values. Okay, so this thing you will verify after once the instance will be what shows to check pass. After this only we can do. Still it's taking time. So we have to go with this web server one, not Bashan host, guys. This one is it's a default one. So like how default one is showing, like the same way this web server one should also be visible over here to check pass. Then we have to copy this IP. Once it will be shows here to check pass. This IPv4 DNS, this address we can copy it over here, IPv4 DNS, and then you have to paste it in the new tab. Yeah, now it's fine. It is fine over here. To check pass. So just select this and copy this IP. Okay, this one. And just paste it over there. Yeah, I was talking about this only. So just paste it. हाँ अब बोल दो थोड़ा देर रुक मिनट 10 मिनट में आ so just look at here like as you can see here the metadata yeah yeah
Sir, DNS, while creating subnet, we have to keep the DNS settings default.
yeah you have to keep the default one. And one more thing, let me show you like here this let me show this to you like when you open a new browser tab, paste public DNS values and press enter, you should see a web page displaying the AWS logo and instance metadata values. Like these are things like we can see it from this window, like welcome to AWS, and there where we have the CPU load 1% metadata. We can see here the values, ID is given, availability zone, everything is I mean you can see through this page. Like you can also check the load test, or you can check with the 100% CPU load test is also visible. Like if you go to the RDS, you can put all the detail here, but as per now not required in this lab. In the next lab we'll see rest of the things. So till that only you have to complete, you have to choose and lab after this. So what are the things you will be uploading in the screenshot? Let me show you. Like once you have opened with this your public DNS, the IP where you got this metadata, okay, that screenshot is required, and where instance, that ID, the values which is given over here, that should be there. Then availability zone, which where you have launched these instances, basically for US to 1B, that should be visible. So that screenshot is required, okay, where you are finding CPU load 100%. So load test you can do, then it will show you 100%. Initially it shows 1%, and after few Second, once you'll do the load test, then it will show you that the 100% values. So that screenshot will be required for your lab assignment. Okay. So ID will be different for each and every student. Accordingly, you will be uploading. Don't think that one guys will take do the lab and the rest of them will copy the same thing. They will paste on the assignment. So make sure that everybody is having different ID. If you do the lab, then you'll get to know that how the instance that metadata ID values have been generated. Okay. Okay. Now you can ask me doubt if you have any issue.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, just a minute.
So we will end the lab.
So we have to